So I'm Francis Petersen, the Acting Vice-Chancellor of the University of Cape Town. This morning I want to bring across a few messages to the campus community. First of all, after what has happened yesterday, the main task of the management of the University of Cape Town is to bring the normal operation, normal business of the university back to where it should be. We have been impacted by the protest yesterday, where examinations were affected, other operations such as, for instance, classes that were disrupted. There were also the normal research activities that needed to take place that could not take place, and we in fact had to close the campus for yesterday. What is unacceptable to us and to the university is where there are protesters that are protesting unlawfully. As a university, we will always support protest, but those protest actions must be done in a respectful and a lawful manner, and that is what we would support. And it's against that background that the management has sought for a High Court interdict to try to restore the normal business of the university. We did that and to ensure that we could carry on with our normal examinations, our normal classes, and also our normal research activities. And it's important for us to convey the message that that protests are important, that the protests are crucial, but it must be done in a respectful and a lawful manner. And we would not allow protesters, and we would appeal to protesters not to take the law in their own hand and then try to protest in an unlawful and in a disrespectful manner. I also would like to convey the second message, and that is a message of engagement with the student leadership. As management, that channel, and in fact it's a proactive channel that remains open. We are trying continuously to engage with all stakeholders of the student leadership on campus. And it's not true, and I want to emphasize, it's not true that we don't want to do that. We try to see what we could do to be able to get the engagement open, the channel open, because we believe that's the only way in which we can tackle the challenges that was put on the table. I would like also to highlight that the two issues that came out of the whole protest were that of fees and that of the outsourcing versus insourcing debate. It's important to let the campus community know that council in fact set the fees, and that agreement or decision was already taken in the September council meeting. And it's important also to understand the process which was followed to be able to get to the 10.3% that was ultimately agreed by council. The Student Representative Council, which is the formal structure of student representation at the university, was actively participating in the discussions to get to the ultimate 10.3%. And therefore we believe as a university that the formal structures and the formal representation of the university need to be honored to be able to make sure that we come up with a number, a figure that is acceptable, but also take into account the inputs of the various stakeholders. With respect to insourcing and outsourcing, there's a continuous discussion and a detailed analysis going into more the financial aspect, but also the human part. How do we in fact engage with our outsourced workers? And that is something that management apply their mind continuously on. What we have done in the interim was to ensure that we tighten up our current system. We have appointed earlier this year, in March this year, a code of conduct manager to make sure that the companies do comply to the code of conduct. We also have upgraded and refined the code of conduct to ensure that companies do look very carefully at the human aspects. And we also increase the minimum wage as from this year to outsourced workers, which is much higher than the industry average for minimum wage. So, and we know that might not be enough, but that's the reason why management do apply their mind continuously to see how we can improve the relationship with the outsourced companies. I would like to emphasize that the right to protest is a given, and the University of Cape Town have a long history of supporting that. However, the right of unlawful and disrespectful behavior is not a given and is totally unacceptable. And the last few days have demonstrated some aspects of that on campus. And in fact, the decision of management to close the campus was mainly based on the fact that we could not guarantee the safety and security of our staff and students. Because that is for us very, very important. And that is one of the reasons, probably the major reason, why we have decided to close the institution and try to restore the campus to normality. So in conclusion, I would like to appeal again to the protesters that you can protest. We're not against that, but do that in a respectful and a lawful manner. Thank you.